Now, there's a rich history. I mentioned it there in the introduction, open air campaigners going since the 1890s. Here you find yourself at the helm. There is a rich history there. I suppose there's an honour board somewhere around the office. How do you reflect on being part of an organisation that's not just something that might even be fly-by-night, but you've been around for a long, long time?
Yeah, look, OAC has had a few books published on its history as well, so it's not just an honour board. There's all kinds of history there from back then, and from that ministry we've expanded not just across Australia but into 28 different countries around the world. Our heart for mission has been there right from the start. Our purpose hasn't changed, but as you said, as an organisation, we've had to continually adjust and change our methodology, our being flexible to how communication happens, to how people connect and relate to each other. But the ministry, which, when we first started, was about preaching, in fact, off the back of horse and carts. We used to travel around New South Wales, and then some of the very first cars in Australia and the very first ute that was ever built in Australia was made for OAC, that had a pump organ on the back, and we used to do all kinds of different things back then. These days, we run camps like Worldview. We have street teams that don't preach on boxes anymore, but chat one-on-one with people. We run beach missions and caravan parks. We do a wide range of connected activities to share the good news about Jesus with people everywhere we can find them.
Just to reflect on something you just said there, and I don't know whether you thought, I'll just drop this one in. Did you say that the very first ute in Australia was made to put a pipe organ on the back of it and taken it out onto the streets so that OAC campaigners could preach the gospel? Was that what you just said?
Yep, that's right. The car piece was brought over from England, so the car was made in England. And then they brought it over here and built the tray on the back of it and made these adjustments to it so that you could stand on the back and preach. You had a pump organ, a pedal pumped organ attached to the back. There's actually a picture of it in one of the books that I have about OAC. It's a fascinating story.
Well, I don't know, there'd be a lot of ute owners who are listening to our conversation now. You might, just delivering that little gem, change the way we think about utes, change the way we think about tradies. We might even change the way you think about the usefulness of taking that ute, because, there might be some who might just rediscover just how to use a ute. Standing on the back of it. I mean, because this is the image, isn't it, of the OAC, open air campaigners, that you've got street preachers on the street corner delivering a message of the gospel, making a proclamation of those things that are true. And what you're saying to us is even the Aussie ute has some humble beginnings that are connected with the gospel. Fabulous if someone rediscovers that.
Absolutely. And look, OAC's history is rich. I mean, we held a prayer meeting in the Sydney Town Hall for 30 years through the first part of the 20th century. Every Wednesday lunchtime at 12:30, we had hundreds of people coming and praying every Wednesday for the gospel, for evangelism, for mission, for a 30-year period right there in the town hall in the centre of Sydney. So there is a rich heritage, but as you've said, coming in to lead an organisation that still has the same mission but is adapting to the current way of people communicating with each other presents an ongoing challenge, and it's a good one to have.